Well, it's Saturday the 21st of May. This is episode 2220 of 301 Permanently Moved.online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. On my blog the other week, I wrote about wind-up worlds. World running, simulations, DAOs, and the urgent collective pivot that we need to make towards slow social experiences. It's generated a lot of fruitful discussion with people far smarter than me. I thought I'd use today's episode to muddy the world running waters further. I want to briefly cover two topics that have repeatedly come up during conversations: worlds as medium and why the metaverse is important. So, worlds as medium. The role of a world runner is to continually steer an existing world towards more aliveness. I give some examples of worlds in the Wind Up Worlds essay, but I'd also add concepts like the Roman world and the art world to the list too. So what are worlds and what is their medium? For expediency, a world is a place in which things that become apparent as part of its goings on persist and further contribute to the world's aliveness. I use the word apparent here not in its modern sense, being understood or perceived, but its Latin root, meaning manifest. We also need to have some understanding of a world's reality, but let's not get too wound up on what's real and what isn't. For the purposes of this initial discussion, I'm adapting and extending Richard Bartle's metaphysical framework of virtual worlds. There are three qualities of a world's reality. 1. The real, that which is apparent. 2. The imaginal, that which is not apparent. 3. The virtual, that which isn't apparent, having the form or effect of that which is. Worlds are persistent places where the imaginal meets the real. The virtual is the world's edge, its surface. Worlding worlds and running them, therefore, is about taking responsibility for the world's medium, the shape of reality itself. The second major discussion point has been, why am I so bullish on Metaverse? Isn't it, I'm asked, just failed, reheated nonsense, being pushed by Facebook seeking a monopoly over certain parts of people's realities? If we don't do something about the future, then it could well be. I'm trying in my own small way to prevent it. The thing is, I'm excited about the idea of the so-called metaverse because I'm still the same person who was obsessed with the internet as a kid. For most people, the internet means the World Wide Web. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee proposed connecting the concepts of hypertext with TCP and DNS technologies. Internet access, for various social and infrastructural reasons, exploded in the early 1990s. The Eternal September began the same year that CERN made the web protocol and code available royalty-free, 1993. The thing is, the web is just a collection of static pages. Hyperlinked together, yes. An exciting concept, yes, but not a new one. See episode 2216. The web really was a fairly pedestrian idea. Yes, I did just call one of the most important innovations of the 20th century pedestrian. You see, a far more important invention, a more radical one, with far bigger and as yet unrealised consequences, had emerged a decade earlier. In 1978, Roy Tubshaw, then a student at the University of Essex, wrote a program in the Macro 10 assembly language for the DEC PDP-10 mainframe. He later handed over its development to Richard Bartle, a fellow student, in 1980. What they created together was MUD, or Multi-User Dungeon, later known as MUD1 or Essex MUD. So named because MUD was conceived as a multi-user version of the 1977 interactive fiction adventure Zork, known to Trubshaw by the name of its PDP-compatible port, Dungeon. All, and I mean all virtual worlds, are made in MUD's image, first birthed in Essex, 1978. This is a point worth hammering home. Before the World Wide Web, before search engines, before Web 2, Facebook, Fortnite, VR chat, and everything else, people were creating and experiencing shared persistent worlds on the internet. Throughout the 1980s, pioneers went online via screeching modems to spend time collaborating, coordinating, and exploring worlds together. By 1993, a study of traffic on the FSNet backbone showed that over 10% of all bits belonged to MUDs. That's right, before the World Wide Web, worlds consisted 10% of all internet traffic. Soon after, AOL decided to offer access to the hypertext transfer protocol in addition to MUDs as part of its online portal, and the rest is recent history. I believe the web has been a 30-year-long distraction from the business of worlding. I understand why, to the general public in the 90s, hypertext in the web is far less of an alien leap conceptually than the idea of shared, persistent, computationally mediated virtual worlds online. In 2022, however, not so much. It's for this reason that I think the metaverse, or the idea of it, is something that we should all have opinions about. What should it be like? How should it work? Worlds predate the web. They've been there all along.